Happy Monday morning, guys. I actually almost forgot to even make this video here. I was about to go out and do a bunch of shit in the yard and take New Dog for a run. And by the way, if you notice how there's different crap painted on the walls back there, with paint in the fireplace room. So if that looks shitty in the next couple videos, deal with it. Anyway, this election. Well, it came out last night that Kasich and Cruz are pretty much in it to screw Donald Trump right now. Now, I'm on the record of neither a supporter of Kasich, Cruz, or Donald Trump. In fact, I am just fearing the utter atrociousness that is going to be this election, which is, I say hopefully Trump versus Hillary, because I fear the clusterfuck that is going to come about if this election either gets contested or it's a brokered convention or whatever is in the works. At this point, if Donald Trump wins these states, wins enough delegates, he's got to be the Republican nominee. I don't care how much I fear him shooting off nuclear missiles and building walls and all that other shit that, frankly, some people are blowing a little bit out of proportion as far as, what he's been saying and proposing to do. But it's getting to the point now where I'm like, just stop the madness. If this was anyone else running with this far of a commanding lead, and I'll get to you in 1 second, Bernie. If this was anyone else running with this far of a commanding lead, you would not see anyone else running against Trump. They would have dropped out now. They would have either kicked their support to Trump or just reneged on it and just did anything, just didn't give support either which way. But man, there are so many people in the Republican Party that hate Donald Trump, that want these candidates like Cruz and Kasich to stay in the race, which, to be honest with you, if I could be honest with you for a second, I'd rather vote for Donald Trump than Ted Cruz. Not that I'm voting for either man, but people are acting like Donald Trump is this big, radical nut job. Hello, has anyone seen Ted Cruz and his ridiculous Bible-beating, far-right conservative point of views? He's the guy that you'd rather support than Donald Trump? Why? Anyway, people act like Donald Trump is the worst thing since sliced Satan, when I'd rather have him in office than Ted Cruz. But I don't support either guy, so it's a moot point. Anyway, Kasich and Cruz are now dead set on hopefully winning enough votes and letting all the anti-Trumpers in the Republican Party saying, look, show up to vote in New Mexico, show up to vote in all the other states left. Just make it so that Trump doesn't have enough electoral votes to win the election, the primary election outright. This is not democracy. This is absolutely not democracy. It's a joke. I mean, not that, we really had a democratic system to begin with electoral college and all that. Yeah, I get that. You can argue that all day. But anyways, the democracy that we've had perpetuating this country after election after election after election after election looks like a complete joke compared to what is going down now with Donald Trump. Basically, they're trying to stop him for doing everything fair and square. It's not like he's cheating to do what he's done. He's the more popular guy, getting more votes than everyone else running against him. Should we fault him for that? We have to have a contested election for this? I don't know. The way I see it, if far more people want to vote for Trump and he gets enough delegates to elect him in his own party, then that's it. Case closed. Shut the fuck up if you can't deal with it. I gotta, okay. And the whole thing about, I said I get to you in a second, Bernie. Bernie Sanders needs to win every single state that's left. And he's still running. Like, Hillary Clinton isn't going to lose every single state. And not only that, he needs to win some of the states by a far majority to get their non-guaranteed primary votes. And he's still running. Now, I can kind of partly understand why this is the case. Now, it's different in the Democratic side, because the thing is, it's not going to come down to a contested election of the Democratic primary, because there's enough people in the Democratic Party with the delegates that like Hillary and are going to be, okay, fine, we will support her. She's probably going to win whoever she faces against the Republican side. But it's in Bernie's best interest right now. He's not going to win the Democratic nod. It's just not. It's not going to happen. But if there was 1 year ever, where someone could file as an independent and steal this election, this is the year. All right? Cruz and Kasich do not have enough national support. But if someone like Bernie comes out and keeps his message out there, that's why he's touring all over Pennsylvania right now. His commercials are all over TV. He's losing by 15 points here. It's safe to say, come tomorrow, he's not going to make up that 15 points. Yet he's touring the state. He's all over TV. He's all over the news. It's like, wow, you're down by 15 points. You're not going to make that up. In fact, you're probably going to lose by more than a 15% margin when the actual vote gets carried out tomorrow. But here's the thing. I'm really hoping, because, like I said, I'll put a gun to my head and pull the trigger if it comes down to Hillary and Trump. Like, I can't decide which one I hate less. Like, I can't. And, like, not that I would ever vote or flip a coin between either one, but I'm really hoping someone like Bernie Sanders, and that may be me, who likes Bernie the most, and trust me, there's things I am very critical of Bernie of. But out of all the candidates out there, he's the only one that I kind of like. He doesn't take big corporate interest money to influence his vote. He's not out there like a money whore like Hillary Clinton is, that just wants to just rake in the dough from all these big spenders willing to throw money her way. But you know what? Whatever. She's not really doing anything that's against. What I see is Bernie is much more ethical than Hillary, all right? That's what I'm getting at. It's not that Hillary's abusing the system or anything like that, or wrongfully using the system, I should say. But I really hope that this is the year, and that's like I'm like, why is Bernie still in the race? Like, why? He has to win every state that's left. I hope you get a situation where it's like, look, the disapproval ratings of both Hillary and Trump are over 50%. I think Donald Trump is, last I checked, it was 61 and Hillary was 58% on a national consensus poll. So it's like, if you have that many people, more than half of people getting polled, that dislike both candidates, it's time to have some sort of third candidate that is a viable, likable person. And I just think if more people hear what Bernie has to say and do, he could steal this election. He could steal this election. Just file as an independent, and they're even talking about doing this in the Republican Party, having a guy like Michael Bloomberg come out, or any other candidates, someone that has an ounce of likability factor to him. Bloomberg specifically, because he's a legislator from New York, hoping that like maybe he could come in and steal New York from Hillary. That would be huge, but probably not. New York is going to go Democrat 9 times out of 9.9 times. Anyway, 9 out of 9.9. Like, who says that? Anyway, I don't know. Maybe it's just the Bernie supporter in me that's hopeful that he can come out. But if there is any year that an independent can come out, and you could still file, you could still pull oh gosh, oh my god, I'm drawing a total blank on the senator from Connecticut that ran with Al Gore for president. Oh my god, he was his vice president. How the fuck am I forgetting Senator Lieberman? Joe Lieberman. Jesus Christ. He lost the Senate primary and didn't get on the Democratic ticket, so then he was like, fine, I'll just run as an independent, and then boom, got elected to Senate running as an independent. You can have the same situation like that here, where you can have someone like Bernie be like, okay, well, hey, I lost. But if he keeps touring now, he still gains more and more support in each state that he gets. Like I said, he's down 15. Like I'm saying, why is he touring? Like no candidate's down 15 points tours this late in an election cycle when you're so far and away not going to be the winner. But I'm like, he's still getting support. He's still touring those college campuses, riling up those young kids. In the words of Jim Carrey, so you're saying there's a chance. I'm really hoping there's a chance it's someone like Bernie. And frankly, he should be like, you know what? Screw you, Democratic Party. You took this bitch Hillary over me. You voted for her in the majority of the states, man. Screw you guys. I'll run as an independent, and I'll pick up the table scraps of the Republicans that don't want to vote for Trump that will maybe vote for me, even though I was a Democrat the most of my life. Pick up the table scraps of people that are just going to say, like, you know what? I don't want to vote for Trump, which there's a lot of people in the Republican Party that don't want to vote for Trump. And there's a lot of people in the Democratic Party that can't stand Hillary and see her for the complete sack of shit that she is. Like me. Anyway, not that I'm an unaffiliated voter. I voted for both Republican and Democratic candidates for president and independent as well. So I like to think I'm looking at this with an equal open-minded perspective, and yeah. Anyways, that's all I got to say about that. My God, a number of deaths over the past few days. China died, and I was tweeting out, hey, no bullshit, you can look at my Twitter feed. I was tweeting out that, it's kind of sad that another professional wrestler under the age of 50 is dead. Like, China died at 47 years old. Like, that is alarming. Like, per capita, you rank that against, wrestling, it's a big, road life. You beat your body up, even though it's fake. The toll it takes on your body. Everyone that can see past the whole, it's fake shit understands what a tough, grueling profession it is. But you look at things, and I remember one of the things that puts this really into perspective is the OSW review of WrestleMania 7, was it? Or 6? 7, where the one main event by Sergeant Slaughter and Hulk Hogan, because, terrorist threats. Couldn't hold in the LA Coliseum because there was terrorist threats. No, it's because you couldn't sell enough tickets, Vince. It's because you couldn't sell enough tickets. Anyway, Jay Hunter of OSW Review did a comparison of the roster, valets, the referees, everyone that basically participated on camera as an active performer on that show in WrestleMania 7. And he asked out to the two other guys in the show, or I think only one of them was there. I think another one wasn't there. But anyway, he asked how many people on this active roster are deceased. All right, this was in 1991. Would be, yes, 1991. And then he said, how many people do you think are dead right now from the Super Bowl in 1991, which was Super Bowl 25, the Bills versus the Giants? How many people on both teams' rosters are dead on the Super Bowl teams compared to WrestleMania 7? On WrestleMania 7, it was in the low teens. It was like either, actually they made this video while the Ultimate Warrior was still alive, and the Ultimate Warrior took part on that show, and he's dead since since OSW Review made that video. So it was like 13 or 14. The bottom line, it was in the teens of number of active performers, valets, or in-ring people like the referees. It was like in the low teens, like I'll just say 14. The number of people that are dead that played in the Super Bowl, 0. And I actually looked it up. It's still 0 to this day. So a sport like football, where guys are getting concussed, doing drugs. I mean, that Giants team is a team that had Lawrence Taylor. He's probably had 20 different concussions in his career and 20 different pounds of coke go through his brain at any point in his career. Like, he's still alive. A guy that was smashing his head around, abusing his body with a number of drugs. And in the teens, 14 or so odd people that took part in the Wrestlemania that same year are dead. Like, if you look at this per capita wrestling compared to other sports where you bang the shit out of your head and mess your body up and do any number of things, substance abuse problems exist in all their sports as well. It is alarming if you look at the age that people die off per capita as pro wrestlers to other different sports. Like, it is just alarming. The fact that China died at 47. Just had Balls Mahoney pass away. Just any number of people. Just a laundry list from every single federation of guys that don't reach their age of retirement before they're dead. Like, I'm sorry, that's just sad, and it's really. I don't know if you're gonna see anything ever done about this. It's like, because what can you do? It's a grueling job where you don't get an off week, or if you do take an off week, your stock drops. If you're healthy and you take an off week, your stock drops and you're less profitable. You're less desirable to your promoter. So it's just sad. It's just so sad, and it makes you wonder if something is going to be done with this, but I really doubt there is. And us people that watch wrestling, we're just going to sit here and enjoy it, I guess, and accept that that's just part of the whole thing. Anyway, speaking about something I like to sit and watch and like and enjoy, Better Call Saul Season 2 has come to an end. Very, very, very good season, but the one thing that just kept lingering in episode after episode, I'm like, I like that episode, but it was so much more of a setup episode than anything else. What I want to do is I'm going to give you my basic review of the season, talk about a few things I like, talk about the few things that irked me, and make some predictions of where I think this is going from here. All right. What I liked about this season, this development, specifically with Chuck and why he hates Saul, or well, he's not Saul yet, still Jimmy. And the backstory, the constant flashbacks of their parents' convenience store and the stories of them taking money, the mother dying. Oh, by the way, spoilers, the mother dying and Chuck being there in the room and her last words being Jimmy, all the resentment that they're building up in Chuck, the undercutting of Chuck, like where Jimmy changed the dates on the forms for the bank, and they thought, like, his mind is slipping and he messed up, and everyone thought he messed up, but he knew he was right, and then he frames Jimmy in the final episode with the recording. But I really, really, really love the development that they're having with Chuck and Jimmy. Kim Wexler, this character, I'm ready to see her go. She was good in some episodes, bad in others, and not to her acting ability or anything like that. Just like, I feel her story is all over the place. She's hating Jimmy's guts in one episode for throwing her under the bus and putting her butt on the line, and then now she's in a partnership with him in the same office, and it just goes so back and forth, and then now she wants to be a con man like Jimmy, and she's going out swindling money out of people, which leads me to my first prediction. All right, there's a thing where Kim decides to be ballsy and try and swindle some money out of a guy, saying that, like, she's that character Yvette that Jimmy and her had worked on earlier in the season. And she calls Jimmy. She's like, "Oh, I got a live one on the hook here. How fast can you get to Albuquerque from Santa Fe?" And Jimmy leaves his office in Santa Fe to meet her in Albuquerque. And in the end of the episode, they show her with the check that they swindled the money. Now, they don't cash the checks or anything. They're just doing it to prove that they can convince people with a fake story to get some sort of investment out of them and to trust them to be people that they can invest in on a complete lie. So they show her with the check, and like she puts it in like in the mirror in her bedroom. And I think it's pretty significant that they showed that she physically kept this check, and she's like keeping it like a trophy. Like she's like I'm proud of this. I got this whole story by myself. She did what Jimmy was doing for years on end, but this time she did it by herself. Got Jimmy involved at the end, but got the whole thing going. It was her job to do this, and she did it, and she got it done. The fact that they showed her keep that check, I'm like, there was no real reason to show that unless it comes back to bite her in the ass at some point. And a lot of people keep saying, well, since you didn't see Kim Wexler on Breaking Bad, she must die at some point in Better Call Saul. I don't think she dies. I think she gets arrested. I think she gets caught. She gets caught. She tries kicking one of these schemes. She gets ballsy at a bar or club or whatever, and gets the wrong guy that somehow gets the feds involved. And then like they search her apartment or house or whatever, and they find one of those checks, and they find out she's been doing this for a couple years. And somehow Jimmy is not going to be linked to it, and she's going to take the fall, and she's going to be serving 10 to 20 in a federal penitentiary. That's what I think. I think Kim is not going to get killed on this show. She is going to get locked up because she's trying to be Jimmy. She wants to be that swindler that can con people, and I think she's going to bite off more than she can do at some point, chew at some point, and it's going to bite her in the ass. And she's going to be serving time at Leavenworth. Well, not really, because only military criminals serve at Leavenworth, but you get what I'm saying. Anyways, as for the show itself, one of the things that irritates me on this show is this whole electricity allergy that Chuck has, and why Jimmy still believes it. There's still no explanation. Like, I have faith that the payoff in this is going to be good, because the payoff in everything in Breaking Bad and thus far in Better Call Saul has been worth the wait. This is something that has been dragging on for 2 seasons. There has been no explanation as to why Chuck has this electricity allergy. It was proven at the end of season 1 when that doctor turned on the bed and he had no reaction to it. Same doctor you saw in the final episode of season 2. It basically said, it's just some psychosis thing. He needs to be committed to an institution. He's not right in the head. There is no fucking electricity allergy that he has. It's some sort of ridiculous concoction in his mind. And why Jimmy still believes it, why Jimmy still grounds himself every time he goes in the room, like, why doesn't Jimmy know it's completely bullshit? It's just getting to the point where it's irritating. It's like, I want a fucking explanation to this, and they never, ever give it. They keep giving you backstories. They show when Chuck was married and all the lights are on in the same house that he lives in right now. It's like, well, what happened to that wife? The time where, where he's laying in the bed and he cracks a joke, and the wife always laughs at everything that Jimmy says at the dinner table that night, and then Chuck tries to crack a joke, and she's like, oh, yeah, that's funny. And it's like everything that is involved, and that's going back to the resentment that Chuck and Jimmy have. It's like, Chuck's wife appreciates Jimmy's humor more, much like how Chuck's and Jimmy's parents appreciated Jimmy a lot more. Anyways, everything built up well. And as for who left don't on the windshield in that final episode. I think Mike and Gustavo are going to cross paths in episode 1 of season 3. I think that was either Gus or one of Gus's guys that is doing something to move in on the cartel's territory. And by the way, I thought Nacho was going to die when Mike was going to assassinate Hector Salamanca, because obviously Hector's not going to get killed since he's in Breaking Bad. I thought in that final scene that Mike was going to be targeting Hector, and Nacho was going to walk right in front of it, because Nacho's not in Breaking Bad, so he's probably going to die. But he's probably going to get killed by Tuco now when Tuco gets out of jail. But yeah, I think that was that was either Gus or one of Gus's guys that left that don't letter on Mike's windshield. So there we go. Breaking Bad, Dead Wrestlers, OSW review, which by the way is still my favorite series of videos on all of the internets. Anyway, that's it for now. 25 minutes I came through for you guys. I was aiming for at least 25 minutes, and you leave us satisfied customers. It's election day in Pennsylvania tomorrow. Vote for Bernie, not that it matters. Have a good day, a better tomorrow. Fuck the Dallas Cowboys. Fuck Chip Kelly. Draft day this Sunday. Who do I think the Eagles... See, I was going to do a whole thing about like who the Eagles are going to draft in this video, but it's like, okay, well, it's obviously Carson Wentz now. Because at 8, I was like, I hope they get Ezekiel Elliott. Maybe they trade up, take the Cowboys spot at 4 to get Ezekiel Elliott to make sure. I don't know. But see, now it's like, well, what do you want to talk about? Okay, they're gonna take Jared Goff, right? No, he's going number 1. Anyways, Wentz at number 2. Oh boy, I guess we'll just be fine with that. Have a good day, everyone. Fuck Chip Kelly again. Bye.